So now that we have a daily bias, a swing in line with the daily bias, and our time frame is aligned, what are we going to do? We're going to figure out where we want that higher time frame wick to form. And to do this, we are going to use the T-spot, or where I want to see the wick form. And that is going to be using 0.5 of the change in the state of delivery, as well as the equilibrium sections. So to do that, we'll go ahead and mark out 0.5 of the reversal, or that change in the state of delivery. And we'll go ahead and highlight that with a green color for bullish and a gray color for bearish. The next thing we're going to do is understand the equilibrium of those higher time frame candles. So if I'm in candle 3, I want to see the wick of candle 2 respect, or if it is a large candle, the whole equilibrium, and just the equilibrium section. And so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and apply those all together. So you can see in this example here, we have a candle 2 closure. We have our confirmation as the change in the state of delivery. So how do we mark out the T-spot? We're first going to mark out half of this opposing candle here, or this change in the state of delivery. So marking out with a 0.5 fib, half of it, we can go ahead and highlight from the opening price to half of it in candle 3. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and highlight that 0.5 of the wick. That is the equilibrium section that we want to see respected. You can see how these are overlapping on the lower time frame chart. We'll go ahead and cut off the upper end of that and show the combination of them. So what does this mean? It means that if I'm expecting price to move lower, I want to see this higher time frame wick form in this area. That means I want to see open, high, I want to see price put in a high in this shaded area, go lower from there. You can see open high, low close. And then into candle 4, we still have a T-spot, but it doesn't make sense to use 0.5 of the change in the state of delivery. It is all the way up here. So in this case, it is just going to be the equilibrium section of the course. So from the open of candle 4 to the EQ of candle 3, I want to see the higher time frame wick form in here to get a continuation lower. Now the main goal of the T-spot is I'm looking for a point of interest in this area to form the higher time frame wick. So you can see in both of these areas, there was a fair value gap. That price opened, went into the fair value gap, and then formed the entry sequence to go lower. Let's take a look at this in our example. So here we are back in our example. We have our confirmation. So let's go ahead and mark out our T-spot. So if we're going to use a fib from the body to the body of the change in the state of delivery, we can go ahead and mark that out. So now we know we can use a box from the open to the equilibrium of that change in the state of delivery, and go ahead and mark that out. I'll go ahead and make it gray. So from here, now we can go ahead and mark out our equilibrium. Well, we want to see 0.5 of this wick be respected from the high of the wick to the low of the wick. And then what we can do is use a gray box here. So from this EQ of the wick to the opening price of candle 3, right? And I can drag that over. So now we can take off the overlap between those two. So drag off the top. And now we have this area where in this next candle, I'm looking for price to form its higher time frame wick. We can drag it over on this higher time frame so you can also see it there as well. So that is the T-spot, and that is where we look for price to react. And I will show you how we do that in the next section.